Firstly, it's a pleasure that we have Ms. Vasudha Armstrong, who's the current chairperson of the Board of Governors of NIT Rourkela, who has joined us again. Thank you so much, madam, for joining us.
Bye-bye.
So, we still stick to the business and we still stick to the agenda as discussed. Yeah, as discussed. Wow. Okay, so to begin with, the first point in the agenda was to share the history of NITRA Pune as we know it, because today we're going to discuss something that was never thought before when this association was made, and we want to make a significant change in the way we're perceived as an organization. Now, NITRA Pune came into being in the year 2012. A group of 7 gentlemen came together, brainstormed that we need something like this over here in Pune. And we had our first meeting in the Bangalore Club in the year 2013, and we officially got registered as a sister body of the parent NITRA. Since then, this is the 6th meeting that we've been having. Most of our meetings have been get-togethers with a minimal of a business agenda. The last meeting that we had was a musical night, where we had more of regional performances. It was more of a family event, and we had Mr. Bhat Joshi, who had hosted us at one of the con. Thank you so much, sir, for doing that. Now going ahead, the high-level agenda of this particular meeting that we have is a vision that the executive committee of this chapter has seen, where we wanted to host an international conference around 2 themes, around the theme of the greening of the automobile sector and around the theme of the greening of the construction sector. And the prime reason that we considered both of these themes was typically that pollution is one of the major devils that we keep fighting with, and everybody talks about it. But the question is, what does anybody do? And as engineers, it's always good that we come together as an association, get together, we have a fellowship, we have a dinner, we share a couple of drinks, and then we go back. But as engineers, that's not what we're expected to do. We took an oath as an engineer the minute we passed out of the institute with a will to serve the society. And that's typically from where we came up with this particular option, having such a conference. And the objective is not to just have a conference which is for namesake. Rather, we want to have a conference which can eventually turn as a change maker and can actually help evangelize what activities and what initiatives are going on in the greening sector. Now, as an organization, it is impossible for us alone as NITRA Pune to organize this. So we have a verbal buy-in as of now from all the other chapters of NITRA, including the headquarters. We're also speaking to the college for their support, and we do hope to host one of the best conferences that we have done till now. I would now request the chairman, Mr. Piparia, to present the bouquet to our chairman, to our chairperson, and formally welcome her into our lunch panel. Much, and now it feels a bit more comfortable a few minutes ago. So even before we go ahead and start the official program, so every year we keep having a new batch of alumni from NIT Rourkela, and every year we keep welcoming them into this association. So this year we have one alumni from the 2014 batch, Mr. Aniket, who's helping us with the photos out there, and we'd formally like to welcome him.
Thank you.
He belongs to the biomedical. Aniket, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Aniket Mazumdar, 2014 Biomedical Engineering NIT Rourkela. And it's good to see the legacy behind the college. and thank you very much for letting me into the talk. Yeah. I am currently business analyst associate at BS Associates. Yeah. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to also introduce the chairperson before we proceed further, so that everyone can get acquainted with her. And it's now that she has graciously accepted to be a part of the small family that we have out here. Ms. Vasantha Ramaswamy is a first-class bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and a master's degree in tribology. She is the first woman mechanical engineer from the University of Pune. She has over 39 years of experience with the Defense Research and Development Organization, the DRDO. She is the first woman armament scientist in India. She is the Maharashtra Governor's nominee on the Executive Council of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University, Pune. She also has a lot of awards to her credit, and if I start reading it, it's going to go incredibly long. But I would still take a few seconds to at least highlight a few key ones. She's a winner of the IMMCINNI Best Women Executive Silver Award. She won this award in the year 1987. She won the award from DRDO in the year 1986. She won the award by AGNI for the Award in Excellence in Self-Reliance in the year 1999. She was also felicitated by NCWI in the year 2001. And the list goes incredibly on. But it's indeed a pleasure to have you over here amongst us. I'll now request the chairman of NITRA Pune to deliver the welcome address as well as to address the guests.
Madam Ramaswamy, Mr. Ramaswamy, Mr. Bhushan, from all the way from Bhubaneswar to attend this meeting. In fact, before welcoming Madam, I would like to apologize that certainly, in fact, seeing the past meeting, I think is much better. So, but then maybe the gathering is small, but ideas are big. And I'm sure even small gathering of people can bring ideas and bring success. So, formally, I would, on behalf of the NITRA Pune and all the alumni, welcome you. You are already from Pune, so I will say welcome you to Pune, but welcome to NITRA Pune. And thank you very much for spending this precious time. Now, in fact, Leo took you through the foundation of this NITRA 7 came together. Thereafter, we had this is the 6th meeting, and we found that starting from the first one, the attendance was one of the biggest issues. And once I was elected the chairman, I thought it's my responsibility to see that what really we are here for. What the objective of this drive? Can we do something different other than really joining together for dinner and fellowship and maybe coming in the evenings and that is nice. In fact, NITRA Pune is one of the first, there could be a lot of alumni associations across the world. You find one of the first alumni associations, I think we have a website wherein you look at the objective of the NITRA Pune is the reinforcing professional, social, cultural and spiritual development of the NITRAites. So when you're going through this rigmarole of really see that how really serve this purpose, what the role of an engineer? In fact, each profession has a role to play, and the doctors and the lawyers, they give an oath of the parcel. Perhaps engineers are not given. Then the role of engineers to really see that they do welfare of the society by and large. And then we thought, let's come together and Pune being a place, a city of cultural heritage, city of education, city of science and research. Madam belongs to Pune. She is from the research and development, DRDO. A lot of other research scholars and scientists are around. And this belt of Pune and Maharashtra is very well connected globally. the area wherein we could certainly come out with a new idea, giving you the mission and the vision of ITRA and the role and responsibility of engineers, and we are all engineers. We thought that if we have to keep up with the pace and development of this organization alive, we must do something different. And then the idea came to one of the biggest, Pune being a hub for auto sector. Can we, in fact, recently, Spicki has organized a seminar on green technology in the auto sector. Whether enough has been done in this area. The government has a plan and incentives on some, I think, excise 2%, 3% incentive those who have green technology for auto sector. Mahindras, they manufacture a electrical vehicle driven by batteries. But I think enough is not being done in India, which is overwhelmed with solar power. In fact, just to divert it, in fact, having done my engineering from MIT, I joined IIT Madras for doing some research on solar energy. Unfortunately, I took this for possible years. And that had been my dream that unconventional, non-conventional energy is the area where the engineers have to do a lot. And particularly, Uttar Pune, good background we have, and the institute being in the forefront today, to really get a support from there. And two ideas came, and one was this greening of auto sector, and another that should be greening of automobiles, the construction. And in fact, construction sector is something like a part of auto sector. Most of the equipment which you use in construction sector, they are motorized, they run on same fuel, whether it's a diesel or it's a petrol. So it becomes a subsector of the auto sector. So by and large, it's again of the auto sector. Now, going forward to various research papers have been throughout associated with the commercial operation. Why should ITRA do it? Somebody may ask why should do it. The point is that, yes, we belong to had careers of 2 to 3 decades. We have had research, we have had our own role to play in the various operations and development. We have gone through the successive failures of the businesses, and we understand the subject and the growth of these areas much better than the students would be doing it. Then, what is in it for everyone? In fact, when the operation goes through this kind of exercise, actually the trade also benefits in networking, benefit in organizing and leading the complete event. The whole focus was that it has to be an integrated approach. So that we could come together and engage scientists, research scholars, corporate, manufacturers, auto sector, government, the media, the bureaucracy. Being from the engineering background, and I'm sure United will also have some research and development of auto sector. Whether we could really analyze everything and come out with some kind of a symposium, a seminar. And why it should be global? Because ITRAs are spread globally. In fact, not only NIT Rourkela, the association of many other NITs and IITs. And I'm sure, as I was talking to she was saying that whether it's NIT or IITs, as well as the brain power is concerned, as well as intelligence, emotion is concerned, the students are the same. So we are eligible and capable of learning. Now the integrated approach, why I'm giving this background so that it's much easier for us to take it forward and focus on what can be done. See, you have a ONGC, you have HPC, and you have a petrol pump employee. You have Reliance, their own petrol pump. They supply diesel, you have a vehicle which is metal. But you have a system wherein a person, a company donating a hydropower or a solar power is also using a pump to charge the battery operated pump. You don't have it. So we have incentives for a complete chain, supply chain, starting from generation of renewable energy till consumption of and complete supply chain and incentives to it. We want it. We have certain incentives. There has to be a very integrated approach. And look at the radio advertisement which is coming up recently. It says we will not being able to drive our cars 2050 beyond, they will not fly. Petrol will not be there. Apart from that, whether we can push this 2050 to another 50 years, that is one aspect. Second aspect is that what kind of pollution we are doing, what kind of environment we are living in. When I came 40 years back, when I joined Bangladesh, there were no fans in a building. Today the environment is so warm, not today. Live without the AC. This is happening globally. Coming back to the point that yes, NIT and the trades are spread globally. They come to India once in a year. So maybe the best time to do it would be in December when all the analyzed also. We could have research paper, we could have speeches, we could have ideas coming in. This seminar, we could have certain symposium, display of their product by the manufacturer, support us in funding it also. So how best we can save this flow from further warming. And auto sector is one of the areas highest pollutant in the warming of the global sector. Find out, I think 90% of the global warming is taken to the auto sector. In nutshell, this was the idea as to what we should do, how we should do, whether we are the right people, why it should be done in Pune, best connected to the global. She was also sharing it. If you do it in Rourkela, reaching Rourkela takes 3 to 4 days. It's not so bad. Pune being a cultural city, very close to Bombay, this is the background of this seminar. In fact, we put up a paper. These papers have been already put up on the website. One is on the website. Yesterday when I was googling to the subject, okay, third item appeared in our own website. Okay, so that was surprised me. I don't know, please start doing it. We have Madam Chairperson of guidance and support, benefit all, in fact, benefit the NIT as much. Because they are a research institute, they are an education institute, directly, they are. So this was the whole concept of this seminar, wanted to do as a global seminar, kind of integrated approach where the government was. Whatever suggestions and ideas and final papers comes up on some pass to the government, they actually don't know that's a different. One of the objectives of this meeting also, we were expecting much larger. I'm sure once we get the ball rolling, more and more kind of this, see that there are also the issues. With this, I once again suggestions, question answers, what is the idea which we go ahead with it. But the ball was started moving somewhere in India back. In fact, we were to do it somewhere in this December. And since we didn't have enough mass, even mass related for it, we got that day be a meeting at least in December plan. Attended by take this idea forward. And yes, should be done, it can be done. Really work out the agenda, work out the date, time, venue, some other nuts and bolts of the whole thing. And take it forward next month. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's also a pleasure to have Mr. Bharat with us. Bharat currently serves as the president of NITRA, which is the parent governing body of all the NITRA chapters spread across the globe. Now, other than being the guiding light to the entire NITRA association, he has also had a long stint with the Rourkela Steel Plant. I believe the most famous company that we have heard of as an engineer in NIT Rourkela. And as his last stint, he was heading the Rourkela Steel Plant as its managing director. Now he works constantly with us towards strengthening NITRA, towards strengthening the the association, and towards strengthening the brotherhood that we have as a college or as an institute. And over the last year, he has indeed worked a lot towards ensuring that a lot of new chapters open up, that a lot of new people meet together, that a lot of good things start happening. So we've always been indebted to him, and it's a pleasure to have you over here with us. I request you to please share a few words.
Good evening, all of you. I am also a part of NITRA, and I should also apologize to Mrs. Rameshwari. Long back, she rang me up. I don't know for what reason I was in the station. She apologized me so sweetly. I was overwhelmed. Anyway, I am now reading Alchemist again. One must have a big dream. And Pune chapter, the youngest chapter, has a big dream. And of course, initially there will be time to set inertia and start and take momentum. But this is the place. This is the today actually. Mr. Pikarath is here. He's an expert in the automobile industry. He has worked throughout his life, more than 40 years. He was a brilliant student, and he's a great man from our college days. We were addressing him as Elder Brother Aina. So he is there, and there is Pikarath now director quality of Piaggio. So anyway, Pune is the right place for having this. It's not that Rourkela should have, and moreover, no branch, no chapter has ever thought of it as a big event. So I always have been encouraging both chairman and secretary, you and Mr. Balakrishna, that we must have it. Okay, today the attendance is less, but I think all chapters must come forward to help this event to happen. This is not event of only chapter of Pune chapter. It's an event for the NITRA as such. So I think we must go ahead. And as regards NITRA, it is in the Golden Jubilee year. Mr. Rameshwari, our chairperson in the convocation, also reminded us that NITRA is now in the Golden Jubilee year. So it will be also an event for the Golden Jubilee year. And we have to do a lot. We have not done much. Doesn't matter. Yesterday we should forget. We should think of tomorrow. And maybe it is smallest chapter or youngest chapter. They have shown a lot of hope, a lot of dreams and courage. And I have spoken to Bombay chapter. Bombay is reasonably well organized. I had a meeting with their chapter chairman and some of the members. And Leo will have contact. Leo incidentally is also vice president of the Western region. So he is supposed to contact Bombay. So I think we can do it, and we shall have a Golden Jubilee of Alumni Association. But we shall divide the attendance. We shall get more NRA alumni here and other normal alumni to Rourkela. We must, because it is Golden Jubilee here, we must celebrate. It is appropriate to celebrate Golden Jubilee of the Alumni Association. But it will be a different sort of function, and this is a different function. And this has to be happen. This has to be realized. And I think we must request Mr. Rathazu to speak some words on this area. And we will give full support. I assure that this dream will be realized. This dream of Pune chapter will be realized. And let us go ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. One interesting thing to note down here is that the gathering is incredibly small, no doubt. But again, it's interesting to see that it's most of the senior alumni that we have had who have joined us together over here today. And it's also interesting to note that most of these people are decision makers in their own respective fields, in their own respective professional fields. And if we have the right set of people with the right decision-making capability and the right vision, I believe there's absolutely nothing that is impossible for us. Now, when we started NITRA Pune, there were people who, I wouldn't say mocked, but people who told us that it's just not possible, it's impossible to sustain an organization like this. But yeah, we did it, and we're still doing it for 2 years. And we do believe that if we keep the same momentum, we still can continue as an organization, and we still can continue to achieve what we set out to do. Now I'll request the chairperson, Mr. Mrs. Vasanthas Ramaswamy to please share a few words with us.
We'll have it in the brainstorm.
I think maybe yes, we'll take it up during the brainstorm. Madam.
Friends, good evening. When Leo called me up last month saying there's going to be something, this meeting, I wasn't quite clear as to what was the agenda, what was going to be done. Yesterday evening, he called me back, and my first question was, where is this meeting? No, I didn't ask him about how many. I did ask him as to what's on the agenda, like what. He had sent me an email, and last few days I've been rather busy with other things. So every time I tried to look at it in my phone, and I couldn't download the agenda. So that's why I was quite blank about it. Anyway, he did mention this to me, and he said it's about we want to have a conference in December, and we want to have it's going to be an international conference. And the idea is, carrying out. How are we going to extend our responsibilities as engineers towards humanity, towards the rest of humanity as, from stopping the deterioration of environment, deterioration of climate. We have a responsibility, and truly so. In fact, a lot of us, mechanical engineers, have worked with the auto sector. Everybody is working somewhere in some areas. And when we work, we look at only that zone and how that is to grow. Unfortunately, growth has been associated with econometrics. Everybody who thinks the company is doing very well is only looking at how much money they have made in that year, how much profits, what's the bottom line. In this chase for the bottom line, very, very often we have missed out what is good for the world, the globe, us, the earth. Because most solutions are what is the least cost solution, what is that which you find now, not what will it be, what will it do for future. Be it, mining of our resources at a very whenever I overfly India, I keep looking down and I keep saying, this area was green then. Now, you can clearly make out between mine because there are large swathes of green which have disappeared. Why? Because, taking out the natural minerals is very profitable. And all of it hasn't really come to India. It's gone out. Gone out to, as ore and material for other countries. And possibly, those countries are a lot more environmentally conscious, so they don't mind. But we mind to send ours. And we end up killing our own climate, killing our land. I go to JSW in Bellary, and you can see red earth. What must have been very green fields is only red earth. So much of we need our resources. We need to use our resources. We need to develop. But we need to do development at the cost of those for whom the development is being done. So this is where I think I'm very much with the idea that we need to, as engineers, we have a responsibility towards humanity. We have not only a responsibility towards humanity, we have a responsibility towards the earth itself. Building dams, big dams, will be very good for getting water, for growing, feeding the human population, the industrial requirements, the large agricultural. But if it is going to, at the end of it, also create environmental damage, then we need to look at that. So everything, as engineers, maybe we were all taught that we need to look at it, but do we really do it? Do we look at the other side of the picture? We look at one side of the picture, which is where are we going? We never look at why on this route, what else can happen? And when you're talking of this, I happened to this time, when I went for my first introduction, I mean, I said, when I did Rukela, he told me the first board meeting is on the 23rd of December. So I told the director, I said, you're going to call me for board meeting in Delhi, but I don't know I don't know Rukela. So I said, I need to see what the institute is first before I actually conduct the board of, the POG meeting. So he said, why don't you come down? And I went till the beginning of December. And it showed me quite a few of the concepts. And a few were left behind, and one of them was my department, which is mechanical engineering. So this time I decided that I must spend that extra day and see all that I had not seen. So when I went down to mechanical engineering, but this was a very interesting project that was going on. And they are working on they already have a solar car. They are working on a autonomous solar car, meaning the car has already been designed. It's a Reva which they have taken, and it is you can sit in the lab, and through computer it is being made to go. You can go through all the roads, and it is a battery. I asked him, I said, fine, this is it. And he said, we are going to convert this into a solar car. So I said, there was a solar car which was with solar panels. He said, no, we will use Philips, solar Philips. So you can have the shape function the way it is, but you can use a PV plate or a PV film over it. And therefore, you can generate electricity as you're driving. You can park it somewhere and it will generate electricity. Then this idea is not new. This idea was in Japan. Air conditioning of cars using solar film on the rooftop has been done by the Japanese auto company and discussed in machine design more than 10 years, 20 years. So these are not new ideas, but we haven't really moved because we were stuck with using designs that came to us. We manufactured them, and we manufactured them as the least, we cut corners. We surely did cut corners instead of in the original design, because it won't sell in the market. The price will shoot up to 2 lakhs or point something of a lakh. And so you cut those corners and it goes. A lot of our automobiles today here will not sell in the West. If we take our cars that are manufactured for the Indian market and go and sell it in California, it won't even be allowed to be sold. Why? Because California has very strict pollution norms. But in California, you can see Embraers. Many people use Embraers. Many people are using all electric cars. Why are we not doing this? Tesla has come up with an all electric car long back. Today, you have a car. We saw a car in my nephew's house, which was equivalent to our Santa all electric, and which we got California state gives him a subsidy. This young man told me finally this car I'm running it for free. It's that big. But I'm not saying we need to run it for free, but I'm just saying we need this. Time's up. We need to get it, and these PHEL had come up with this ideas long before. But why did it not move? Well, there are other commercial block which block electric. We as an engineering community can we get ahead of cross this border of oil industry. See, there are two of them, right? The original auto industry and the oil industry together have a large nexus. Which will hold down anything coordinate. As India, we are not the auto or the oil industry doesn't have its own year. And we have the right environment, political environment, which says make in India. Let's move it. Let's start off. Let's get up and work on it here earnest. It doesn't matter whether it's large industry. And then water, today I was reading, they are talking about using the tank. They are planning to take sewage water, treat it, and use it for the thermal power plant for cooling water for condensers. How many of these constructions use up how much tube, how much water, how many tankers of water from underground is pulled out and used for construction? Why can we not have the same? Our city throws out so much of sewage into our rivers, untreated or treated. We can surely use that. We have all these quarries lying around where every rocks and nuts has been taken out because of construction has been put in. And it's all filled with rainwater. And it becomes stagnant, it becomes, all that good can go to construction. You don't have to use groundwater. I mean, these are, I think, the things which we should, and the economics of it definitely has to work out. And I'm sure it's, also work out economically correct, along with big environment. And I do wish the NITRA global, meet that you're going to have all the very best. And I look forward to hearing suggestions and ideas during that and during spoken, and now also. And let's take it forward. Thank you very much.
One point I made is very correct. What's also important is creating awareness, what you said. So it is not available, but people are not. In fact, there could be a lot of issues with the designing part, the efficiency, with the safety of the electric car. So there could be a lot of areas of development and growth. So let's open for additional answer and feedback and suggestions.
Yeah, so now this was the actual session that we were waiting for. I think we've got the right set of inflections for this. So what we want now is that we want you to share your ideas, typically on this particular conference, on how you feel it should be conducted. And if you want to challenge it, then we challenge it now as a general body. Rad, would you like to start?
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. I've been in the auto sector for almost 3 decades. Before that, I was in aeronautics. And obviously, challenges are there for any introduction of technology, apart from the political part. The technological challenges are very high. Because, as Madam said, that many things that are sold in the country not sell outside, not only because of pollution norms and things like that, all the overcomes, but because of reliability. Reliability has been a major casualty in most of our things. And here we are willing to accept some error, some stoppages, thinking that it's a road vehicle. So what will happen? We at least think that in case brakes fail, steering fails, and it hits another fast-moving vehicle to the other side, what happens? So there, safety is a very critical thing. There, the environment control is a very critical thing. We take it very casually so far, but maybe things will not be like that in the future. While we are looking for greening, taking care of the environment, we also have a big challenge for us. We have to grow and at a fast pace, if at all we have to match as a power in the country, in the world. So what we did not do for decades, as you said, we got designs, just converted them, cut corners, cut cost. But today we have to look at value addition rather than cost. And value addition talks of anything that is for the future, which can be thought now. What is not envisioned by most of the people now, but can be seen by one. He will be a visionary at a later point, and possibly takes the whole country or the society much far forward than what is today. So it's two ways of looking at it, that the catch-22 situation is always there. We need to use resources in order to enable us to really compete with others. Like If we are going to have accommodation for another 50 crores of people, obviously we need construction industry to survive, flourish, use technology for very fast development, use possibly equipments. And what we talk of greening is not only in terms of construction machinery, but in the construction process itself. Things have come now like the less water, curing and all, which we are throwing earlier. Today we have got concrete, etc., which are very fast without much of water. And imagine billions of tons of concreting being done, billions of tons. In that, how much of steel will be used? Similarly, steel production, their effluent, their sewage, all those will definitely save a lot of water. So when we talk about greening in these two major industries, I appreciate the topic and I would rather vouch for it because it talks about lots of areas, not merely the mechanical part, but not only the design part, but also the basic technology for everything, from quarrying to saving of natural resources, to water, to energy, and everything. It will be a nice idea. The only thing is, what I am apprehensive about is the time and the effort that we need to really do an international scale. Lots of work have been done by many. Lots of work is also being done by many organizations, and they are in their corporate level, in their R&D work and all. As a matter of fact, a lot of research and development work is taking place in India in automotive sectors, and but possibly we are doing the second level most, not the first level. While we are working towards gaining more entry through Make in India in the global field, they are going ahead in thinking for the future, looking at newer ideas for the future and passing on the nuts and bolts to us. We have to take it in any case because we have to survive, because we have to also earn. There's no choice. But at the same time, this is not the only thing for us. How to manage both is a big challenge for the country as well as for the engineers here. So we will have to look at how to manage this also. That when we talk about an international seminar, I was mentioning to Bharat that possibly we should have a small 5-member team who must make a blueprint for this particular seminar and present it within 1 month. Thereafter, you can debate in greater detail. To have a debate here, the whole thing, but we don't know the vastness of the entire gamut of science. If it is like any of the Institute of Engineers meeting and so on that. So how to contact, whom to contact, who are the people, who are the research people, who are the experts in the field, and take many other things. So a small committee, include not only of ITRA Pune, but ITRA Pune together with experts in the field. You can create maybe 5 or 7 and take that, or those who are also in the academia abroad, who are working in that field, they all can take it in and then present a blueprint, which is like a project report, you can say, to take it forward. Then possibly we will have a better and clear picture as to where we go, how to do it. That's it.
We are narrating automobile industry. Actually, I am thinking how to organize the conference. That is the biggest task. But Raj sir told definitely the board committee has to be formed, the 5-member committee. They have to do the homework correctly, and really it is a great challenge in front of us to organize anything. Just you told we are having 7 meetings here. Almost all the meetings I am present. 3 people are present. We should increase the attendance. That is more important. And our core committee, if they will be strong I think this conference is possible. But this 5-member committee should work hard and make a blueprint and present. There should be another general body meeting where number of, if the themes is very much clear, then attendance will be increased and we can call the expert from the industry here. Because Pune is hub of the automobile industry. And we can call the experts, they can take part in that meeting and we can go ahead. Because particularly in construction industry, to make it environment friendly, a lot of industries are doing it. Recycling of the water and using the recycled water in the industry also. And particularly the water used for the concreting etc. it should be really like potable water. But for the curing etc. definitely consumption of water is being reduced nowadays. All the companies, all the nail companies, they are very much concerned about this. And they are using particularly some compound for the curing as well as otherwise they are using sprayers available for the manufactured by different company to use very less water to wet the surface. Definitely this is very low stage, actually very early stage, and there are a lot of things to be done in the construction industry. This is the really unorganized sector till today. And if NITRA Pune can do, and I am definitely part of the team, particularly in the, if we are going for the construction industry conference, definitely I will be part of the team. We will have the core committee of the 5. Which is the automobile sector, if there is somebody experts in this line, in that automotive line, should work great. Thank you.
So I am in priority because I have to leave. I have to travel back to Barabanki now. It's around 3 hours. So, well, I welcome the idea. First of all, the concept on which we are trying to make this conference is something very dear to me. Environment. Well, I am a different, I don't know why I am engineer. I say why automobile? I ask questions. Why construction? Why automobile? Anyway, those things we can debate over here. Thing is that how I understood the basic concept is why there is a problem. Why there is a problem of ecology and why we talk so much about it. I think the genesis of this problem starts with our breed, that is the human race. I feel the human race is slightly different than other animals. What is the difference? Well, everybody claims we are the most intelligent species on the earth. Fine. But I feel we know one word more than the other animals. In English, we know one word more than the rest of the animal kingdom. That is, all the animals, they transact for their needs. Human beings, they transact for their needs as well. I mean, and nature has plenty for everybody's need, but not really enough for everybody's need. You can see how many cars, I mean, we talk of greener countries, how many cars each family has or each individual has. In India also, how many houses, things like that. So, I mean, probably that is the root of that. So somebody said about awareness, definitely I will vouch for that. But the first requirement is a tremendous amount of awareness to understand what ecology is all about, what it is going to do to us. Many people, they might be thinking that, well, I am going to live another 20, 30 years. But fine, if we are not worried about our grandchildren, then that is fair enough. But I think we can't afford to. So, every citizen of the world in some kind is causing some harm to the nature. That has to be brought to the knowledge of all. They should understand and react to that. That is most important. It is not only the people of automobile or construction, that anyone who does a mess on the road or whatever. So that's also a condition. So coming back to the factor of how to make greener automobiles, what Pam said and many have shared their views. There is one big problem about electric-driven automobile is how to make it viable when we are talking of commuting and opportunity. Even today, the mode of charging the automobile batteries and making the batteries less expensive and making the batteries run for a longer time is not a viable solution. I think many have agreed to that. Once we are having a discussion, then we are coming up with some ideas that we will take it up and doing that. Like ma'am say, nobody is allowed to have a station in which he can supply, just like a Reliance gives a petrol or Indian Oil or any company. So similarly, can anybody produce electricity and sell it at outlet? If not that, we are thinking of something like electric automobiles will be viable if we can have charge battery available like petrol stations. You can use the existing infrastructure because you can start from the scratch and create infrastructure and make that viable. Maybe the existing petrol pumps can be used where there is a network to be established where you get charge batteries which you give your battery and in return get a battery which is fully charged and you pay for the charging only. Because otherwise but then there is a question mark in that also, condition of the battery and that you are giving and the condition of battery that you are giving. Like that, a lot of the things are there which need to be addressed to make this concept viable. No doubt that India is a country where plenty of solar energy is available. But cost effectiveness of tapping that energy and storing and reusing is still a question. When I was for a very short period I was in Gujarat, I also like to work in the non-conventional sort of energy and all. I found a very small person, he is very interested in his own small lab, who used to make solar panels and solar lights and all. A lot of experiments, he was very enthusiastic. He showed us, my wife went there and we were trying to see what he makes. So he has a very small workshop and he was doing very interesting work. So he does it, but then he says, finally the cost. When you talk of electric cars, within the REVA, why it is not so successful? We still depend on the subsidy given by government to make electric vehicles successful. Without the subsidy, that is the reason the REVA car was expensive and it was not very popular in this country. So this is the areas where we have to think how to make it cost effective, how to make sure that the charged battery or something which is available at a duration where the person going, because the charged battery can last for a very long distance. And many vehicles in India, they commute very long distances. And you can't wait for that long a period, which today it takes to charge a discharge battery so that you can start again. So these are the few things definitely need to be considered and maybe discussed during the meeting where we will have the conference that we will plan. And surely I agree that, like Mr. Ram said, that we should have a very concrete plan of how to execute this particular concept. We should have, that should be done within a month, so that the remaining, I think, 10 months are available. Make sure that it becomes a success. So my problem is only that I don't stay in the estate planning. So geographical issue is there, but anyway, whichever way I can support this, I will definitely do it.
Nowadays, distance is not a problem. Emails are.
That's not it. Communication is not a critical presence maybe.
You said it, we talked about the global hub. Okay, the internet, something makes it a global thing successful.
Not a. Okay, thank you.
Dinner is ready now.
Right, all focus is there time myself take place. That's interesting. I want to get fast. I want to walk around. If you want to get fast.
Hello? So I have only 3 points. Last, I mentioned that we have batteries operated cars or vehicles that will definitely increase the pollution level and increase the quality of air. But I would say battery is the most biggest pollutant in the present time, because you can't dispose the battery like the way we dispose other things. It's very difficult. Think of millions and millions of cars, millions and millions of vehicles running into the world. To have that many numbers of batteries, you can think of havoc it will create in the world. So, lot of challenge, and it's not, you can say, a viable solution if you think of another 2 years down the line. After all, you have to think beyond that. And secondly, as I said, you have to charge it. When you charge it, is taking some kind of electricity. Now, think of source of generation of the electricity. It is also using some kind of coal or hydropower or something like that, which is really pollutant. So this kind of solution, or maybe I'm not from that background, so what I feel is not a sustainable solution for a long term. We have to think as an engineer, we have to think beyond this, something else. Here comes my field or my background. How many of you right now go to pay your electricity bill, go to electric office, or buy a ticket from railways, go to railway station? Nobody. And the future of commutation is purely going to be only for goods. It's not for normal commutation for some human being. Everything will be on e-highway or electronics highway. Everything, all transactions will be on computer. In fact, nowadays it has already come. It's called telepresence. How many of you know telepresence? Very few. It's like the person is sitting maybe 1,000 kilometers away. But that setup will give you a kind of feeling that you are just sitting in front of you. All communications are going to be on electronic superhighway, and only things which remain is the goods which will be carried on normal transportation. So this is the second point. Third point was, as rightly said, sir, that how to increase the popularity of this tool. As you rightly said, we should have a group who are into this automobile industry and prepare some kind of paper and invite other people, all actors, maybe from IITs, maybe from other technical institutes, and have a discussion, have a meeting. If that gives you some kind of positive result, that will invite other people to participate in this, and that will give some kind of visibility to outside people saying that yes, space recruitment programs is doing all this kind of activities and this positive impact, and so the first it needs visibility. I think the popular research is I support that. Let's have a group, prepare some kind of paper, publish it, and invite other people to participate.
Thanks.
Sorry to take the mic again. I was just trying to clarify. See, when we are talking about an international conference on automotives and construction industry, it's not about mechanical engineering or automotive engineering per se. Because the greening is not a field of any engineering at all. As you said, it's the ethics, the humanities, everything together. Energy requirements and newer advancements are going to make things which have looked impossible today possible. Because we never thought nanotechnology will come, materials will come, things which cannot be broken up can be broken up by bacteria. Lots of things are happening and lots of things will happen because everybody is working, whether we know or not. It's different, but everybody is working at a very high level, at a very extensively, and with lots of investments all over the world. Because more than us, they are also affected. Similarly, we have to also find technologies to advance at the same time, use it with care or responsibly use it, as they say. So these responsibly using it, like you said, there will be possibility of not commuting for only doing office work, but you may have to commute for doing or conversion of a material. Like in a steel plant, you may have to commute. There are cases of manless factories, or we call lights out factories. But for lights out factories, also men are required. So lights out factory will also require very high degree of technology and technical expertise to create it absolutely reliable and working every second perfectly. So the kind of things that you need for that equipment, the kind of things that you need for power supply, the kind of things that you need for controls, the kind of things that you need for remote control from every place is something very different. But that's what possibly will take us to reduction in the total consumption. It is just like by staggering one day off, you are almost reducing the max demand by 15%. What you do in electricity. Similar kind of thing comes when you club them together, create clusters. I mean, there are many, all we can't discuss here. But what idea is, the moment we think that it is needed, because we have 120 crore people, we have 50 crore of people not having a proper medicine. So road has to be built, buildings have to be created, factories have to be made, production has to go on, all that is needed. What kind of thing, when do we need how much of difference, what kind of thing can be reduced for keeping some energy level at a much lower level now so that the total available energy or renewable energy even for longer period of time, we don't know, we are concerned. So like today, also guiding some people on TV, photovoltaic. So like we are talking about kilns. Now they are not becoming cheaper right now, that's what we are saying. Because we have alternatives, we look at cost. In the United Arab Republic, the UAE and all, they are converting seawater because they don't have any choice. Cost is second. Without that, we just can't survive. And today they are booming economy. So when we don't have any choice, we also all at one point of time thinking if the petrol price goes up, petrol consumption will go down. But that's not developed. And what we think here is, please understand there are crores of people outside who do not have that facility of commuting on a bus. To them, when will it reach? When will that teleportation or thing will come? Yeah, it will come. Because it will come very fast also. We never thought such a small piece of equipment can communicate with satellite and give us an answer, mobile. And such a small battery can also give us so much of light. And still work is going on for enhancing the battery life. Batteries, how many batteries we are throwing right now for these? That's what things will possibly come. When greening will come, then many alternatives will come. And that is one part, one of the basic aims of this seminar. So that what things are happening globally, some people are working on some areas or you get a picture. It's not a comprehensive picture, it's not necessarily a blueprint, or converting it to a viable proposition or a commercial proposition. Because it needs a lot of time, trials, and a lot of various things which will come. So, the idea is that it is irrespective of the branch, but there are, and not only what I said about that core group was basically to understand there are many NITRA people who are like the vice chancellor of some universities. They are also in the materials field, and I was talking to Bharat, I was saying that when we say materials, we are talking of metals, but I think the future material is polymers. So we have experts on polymers and rubber and all, which are going to be future material. So they are there already. We will take their help, understand about it, and create a framework as to what can be possible. Because I saw Indian Road Congress in Bhubaneswar. So for the Road Congress, the kind of preparation that is needed, including accommodation and employment. There are villages, I have seen villages created in the first Road Congress, which was 30 years back, 27 years back. This is the second time there. That gives a lot of shiver and fear down the spine. And when you want to talk about an international conference, the kind that you want to go on, so tremendous amount of work. But only thing that I'm saying is possibly the time being short. I feel short period. Because of the articles, get their realizations, at least some 3 to 9 months time. Village of start point, let's put it that way. And then we can take a view whether we are ready at that point of time to plunge into the direction. While we effective and what must we do? But we have to definitely take the help of lots of people. We have plenty of people in our country. Academy. I was suggesting where so he was saying whether automotive and as far as technology is concerned, and he can be on a chair conducting various batches, various branches of that. Definitely. Thank you.
Good evening to all. And I just think about what I practiced when I was manager at the Club President. I observed that all buses get full tank. I made a policy that we should not be full tank. Let us reduce this part. It's not exactly aviation business. Aviation never overfill the use. And all of us do it. Because whenever I go to petrol pump, we fill our tank full capacity. And by the time I stayed, and my road transport company had around 7,000 buses. Annual expenditure was 400 crore on the fuel. By this policy, we sent 50 crore in fuel. And this is actually, in fact, what is happening in India is a net import of petroleum. We are putting a lot of complex in petroleum. All of us are bad at it. Whenever you go to petrol pump, full the tank. It's a very negative way of actually rather that you are holding things. So stop that. Really, now this was, I mean, it could have done 20 years bigger where network of petrol pump was not much. Now it is almost every 10 kilometers, every 20 kilometers. Even I remember when I was a child, my father used to have, when you get his salary of a month, he used to go to ration shop buy month-long ration. But now nobody is going. Because we feel that it's not required at all. Rather, sometimes that item gets stale and we think that better to go even by walk or whatever. Because that's the way we should practice. change our weight because we are doing the still 20 years old theory that petrol pumps are not old. Secondly, in Pune itself, when I was entering a composite Indian history, I made a very small comment. In India, we all take the bottle water. But have you ever observed that nobody empties the bottle? Generally, we leave around 10 ml, 20 ml. Water consumption talking. In India, generally around 30 crores 1 liter bottles are produced. 30 crores. Even if you leave 10 ml, how much water and that to high quality water? It's not normal brackish water or how much quality water and that should reduce consumption, transportation cost. We all advise to poor people in the rural village not to irrigate, not to do extra, but the educated person are how much. We have to be self-conscious first because better than advising. Because in India, there is a, especially Maharashtra, there is Europe side, sugar industry consumes a lot of water. And the poor farmer gets it. But we never condemn ourselves. We have a very bad habit of not emptying tea. Even I recently, around 2 months back, Kosik person, who is the World Bank advisor, and chief economist, he said that carry your water bottle to next meeting. So that you can save a lot of water. It is already reported. He said you carry your bottle to next meeting. Your bottle in the meeting and take another open, another fresh, unsealed another bottle. I mean, we have to really stop. And that I practice in my present office in Pune. I never allow my driver full tank anytime. You take a judgment how much kilometer, petrol pumps always available. I mean, move on and just say cost saving mechanism again, environment saving. What I do. Thirdly, just electrical, I was I am also electrical engineer. See, when you design electric car, the socket and the plug, it is a very different type. We have normal standardized high current, they are very different. When you have a different type of socket, that's a problem. Because you have to create a separate facility. In India, one of the Western countries, you can't. I also, when I was in Mauritius, I went through the trials and I had a ride because I was offered a ride. This is very marvelous, but it's not exorbitant. No exorbitant. I think in Mauritius, they were telling them very good cars in Mauritius, very expensive. I mean, that level of course, India can't afford. We have to operate in our own way of life, and I think what I suggest, that's the way of living. Instead of just going on, said battery is another problem. Understand? The disposal will be another problem. Now bring back the battery and process whatever recovered material. But another issue will come. I understand this will be. But we must find out our own suitable, our own type of. That should be the innovation. Instead of just copying from Japan is doing, US is doing that. And lastly, what I would say, because our habit also, even West also the same problem. See, when you have a high efficient car, what they do, they run more on the road. That also not like in India, what is happening? Even Pachori, he got the environment part, but he was asked question, why you are actually SUV? Because he says that I am a tall person, I can't fit into a smaller car. His explanation that is record. He said I am a tall person, I can't. But the question was asked him, if you are going for the environment, so much of the, you are using SUV and SUV is more. I mean, we have to our own. Of course, that's another problem. It's actually the problem of physical talent. Because we all think others to follow, we never follow. It's a physical talent. I tell you, physical talent, how some people are familiar with the term. In our Panchatantra, there is a story. The king wanted to test the honesty of citizens. He said, we'll ask all the citizens to carry 1 glass of milk to the poor in the pond. But nobody brought milk. They all brought a glass of water. Thinking my neighbor will do. And exactly happening in our this sector, automobile sector. Because we see that somebody buying SUV, you also start buying it. This is a phenomenon. I mean, we are very jealous of each other. And he is buying a big car, why not buying? Rather than maybe we want to go and business dilemma every day we have. I'll tell you another small example. In our colony, residential colony, roads are narrow. You see Pune, Kerala, expatriate house may be costing 50 crore, but the road in front of it will be only 5 feet. You can't take your car. And everybody thinks that if I encroach one side of the road by 1 feet, nothing will happen, other side also doesn't. It's a business dilemma. And we have to counter and really think about it. This is more awareness required. Even traffic also, everybody thinks that night time 10 o'clock, red light I will cross, nothing will happen because no traffic marshal is there. The other side also does the same thing and you have a crash. This is a serious problem in our Indian country. Never realize that in the human behavior, now it is common, but you have to counter it somehow. This is exactly happening in our automobile sector also, it's happening in our water conservation. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ramaswamy, sir, would you like to share your input?
No, I have been listening to everything. I am essentially a manufacturer. The fundamental problem comes in the education is that we don't take pride in doing our work. You talk about somebody fighting a difficult tall person to get into a car, get into a small car. Last 4 days, my ex-boss from college was here. He was staying with me. He's 6.5 feet tall. He found it easier to get into a nano than into a Mercedes. I'm not joking. Seriously. He got into my nano and he said, Ram, it's a beautiful car. It's a very spacious car. Why can't you make it better? While getting into a Mercedes, he was trying to do his yoga exercise to get